If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will even distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So don't forget to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Hey, what's up? This is Tony making food Mata. This is a little Tony Talk, a modified view in the culinary industry. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about follow through. Follow through. Simple, right? Everybody thinks it's simple, but it's not. So you might ask, what is follow through? So when you get to a status, a chef status, or a lead line cook or supervisor status, you are required to tell people what to do and then expect them to do it. So, you have to have follow through with your management. If you ask somebody to sweep and mop the walk-in, and you ask them and they do it, and you don't check on them, and they didn't do it, then it's on you. You did not have the follow through to check on that dishwasher or porter or whoever was supposed to sweep or mop the walk-in. Now, follow through also can be for cooks, line cooks, managers, anybody in the restaurant industry. You have to have a little bit of follow through as well. What is that? Well, if you prep something, you have to make sure that it's prepped correctly, and then you have to check your product, make sure that it's good. If you're a manager, front of the house manager, and you have a trainer, and you have the waitress train a server or another waitress, and you think that they're trained right, but you didn't check on them because you thought you were tight, and now they're doing horrible, it goes back on you. You have to have follow through. You have to have follow through. With your supervisors, and your chefs, this is important because it shows your team that you are actually checking up on them. And despite me, I am a very glass is half full type of guy. I'm very optimistic about things. I give people second chances and I give them the benefit of the doubt. And lots of time that has burned me so bad. Lots of people that I've worked with have actually thought that I was maybe a dick, which, that's fine. This chef guy just walks around with his chef hat. That makes him very aerodynamic, and he just yells at us. Well, that's sort of a follow through, and I'm not really yelling at you. If I've asked you 5 times to make sure that you don't have a sandy bucket on the ground, or if you're not eating sandwiches during the middle of the rush, or not having your soda in the lowboy cooler, or why didn't you check your product, or this, that, and the other, and I tell you 4 or 5 times, and you're still not doing it through, yes, I am going to be upset. Because we are all adults here, for the most part, or you have some sort of level of respect. I am having my follow through, and you are not following my instructions. So yes, I might seem like a dick. However, think of it as dealing with your kids. If you tell your kids multiple times to pick up the toys in their room, on their floor, and they still don't do it, yes, you are going to be upset. So, I don't want to compare people to kids, but sometimes it's like dealing with kids. I've had other people say that I'm a good chef. Hey man, this guy is very attentive and he always follows through on his stuff. He comes in, he checks his product, he comes around, he looks at this, he looks at that. He's going to email you. He's going to be on it. And that's why some people actually like working with me, because I don't want to sound like I'm better than some, which I kind of am, but I'm not the best chef in the world. And I will tell you that. I will be the number one person to tell you that I am not Gordon Ramsay, I am not Anthony Bourdain, I am not Wolfgang Puck, I am not a Michelin star chef, nor do I ever strive to want to be a Michelin star chef or anybody like that. I just like cooking food for the average Joe and making it good. That's me. That's my cooking style. I like making comfort food, and that's what I do. But why am I a chef? Why am I a chef if I don't strive to be that, to that top level? Well, yes, I am a chef. And I am very good at what I do. And that's why I like being a chef, is because I am good at what I do, because I have that follow through. I double check. I triple check my inventory. I do my computer work. I do daily reports. I have follow through with that. Like I said, people love working with me for the most part because I have good follow through and I'm very thorough. As mentioned, some people don't like working for me because I have too much follow through and they think it's me being a dick. Pardon my French. But as you're moving up, as I talked about in another podcast, and all of these podcasts kind of just go together. It's just one big day in the chef life, man. All these things that you're doing, that I'm doing, it's over and over again, and it's a little crazy. What's that terminology? What's the term for insanity? What is it? You do the same thing over and over again and expect change? Maybe I'm a little insane. But I wouldn't change it for the world. I would not. So, talking about follow through again with our supervisors. Okay, being a supervisor, if the chef tells you to check on employee A to see if they're doing this, so you go check on employee A to make sure that they're doing this. And if they're not, then as a supervisor, you teach, train, develop them, and you work on that with them. You better believe it that the chef will go in behind you, not that he doesn't trust you, but he wants to make sure that he has follow through, that you have follow through, so that you are doing your job. And then at the end of the day, he might quiz you, he might say something, and he might check you. I've done that before. I haven't had to do it lately with some of my guys, but I check them. And this is what you do. As a chef, as a leader, as a supervisor, you have that follow through and you have to. And as mentioned, on the line cooks and that at that level, you still have to have follow through. You have to make sure that you are checking your product, making sure that you might have told that waitress or somebody to do something too or help you out, and we just have to make sure that it gets done. So, just keep this in mind, my friends. Keep this in mind. It has helped me out so much in my career of just being a little anal about things and a little not predictable, a little bit precise about my things in my chef life, that it's made me better. It's made me better because I have a lot of follow through. And you have to see things out. Try things out. So, lots of times I will reference people who know me, a bar and grill that I used to work for, Albert's on the Alley. And I worked there for 10 years. And it was a good 10 years of my life. And I will not change that for the world. Some of the relationships that I've met or some of the girls, and actually met a lot of girls there, but some of the relationships that I've had with the cooks, line cooks, people, waitresses, bartenders, we're still friends to this day, and I would not change it for the world. So, as working there, you would have somebody, I'm not going to say names, but maybe you would have somebody who was in charge of that operations come up with these crazy ideas. Hey, I want to do $2 beers on Tuesday night. Okay? I want to do $4 Guinnesses on Thursday night. I'm just throwing stuff out there. So you try that out, right? First week, you do some advertising, maybe a little bit of advertising, but nothing happens. And you expect to sell all these $2 beers on a turned up Tony Tuesday, for $2 beers, and it doesn't happen. So then you try it again next week, and nothing happens. And then you try it again the next week. You see some business, but you're like, you know what? We're not doing $2 beers anymore because it's not making us money and people aren't coming in. That, my friends, is wrong. That's the wrong move to make. Because there was a situation like that at that place that I worked at. And that happened. And the fact of the matter is, he was so mad that the business wasn't picking up that he canceled it. And you know what happened the next week? Hey, man, what happened to those $2 beers that we had on Tuesday? You started to build a following, and then you smashed it. That is not good follow-through. You would have to... I would have let that run for 3 months, 1 quarter, see how it did. Collected some data. See what's going on. Maybe push it a little bit more. Hey, when I worked there, it was all about MySpace. Facebook wasn't up and running that much yet. Maybe he should have hit more on MySpace. Maybe he should have put some stuff out in the paper. Maybe spent a little bit more money, and your business wouldn't have been out of business right now. Just saying, my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. But I've been around the block a lot of times, and, you got to see things through. You have to try things. Seasonal menus. As chefs, we do seasonal menus, usually every season. 4 seasons, 4 quarters, or you do one in the summer and one in the winter, and that's that. You try it out, you collect the data, you see what sells, you see what doesn't sell. If it's a seller, you keep it. If it's a seller, you want to keep it, but it can't because your items, tomatoes might be skyrocketing in the middle of winter. I don't know. Might not be able to get the avocados. Might not be able to get this. Might not be able to get that because it's out of season. Then, hey, you just bring that back next season. You put it on the next menu because it was a hit. You collected that data. You got that data. And now you're good. And now you know what works for next season. You still change the menu up, but you might have that staple, and then that becomes a staple items, my friends. So, that's what I would do. In the bar situation, I would try to do an industry night for 3 months, or 6 months, or something like that. Spread the words. Don't treat your customers like crap. Almost everything that I have learned in my culinary, not in my culinary world, but as an entrepreneur, as a businessman that I am, multiple things that I got going on, Airbnb, YouTube channel, now this broadcast, my personal career. I have no love life. So, everything that I've learned in my business is my business sense is from what this particular man failed to do at this particular place. Failed miserably, blamed everybody for all of his mistakes, and that was that. And you know what? Bless his soul, because in actuality, with him failing, it actually helped me succeeding. Bless his soul. Thank you, Mr. Whatever your name is. You know who it is. So that's kind of a sense of follow through as a business aspect, like with these little drink specials and with this stuff. You know, I come up with stuff, ideas, menu items. Yeah, they might not catch on, but let's try them. Let's try it out. You know, some things might be a winner, some things might not be a winner. But you have to see these things through. You have to have that follow through. You have to just work with it. And with those menu items, you just have to try it. Try it. Collect the data. You need data. Okay? You need to see what works. So, going back to the chef aspect and what I found out with follow through and things like that, it's always good to make sure that you follow through your recipes. Okay? You go through your recipes from front to back. You see what you need. You look at those and you see what's up. That goes in the recipe reading. That's a whole nother episode. But you make sure that you can execute the product that you want to do. So you think about it. If I want to do this, that, or the other at the fry station, or on the grill station, or on the saute station, is it going to be a 1-pan pickup, a 2-pan pickup, 3-pan pickup? Bless your soul with that on a busy Friday night. And if it becomes a popular item, that's going to be hard to execute. So you have to think. You have to think, my friends, my chefs, my culinary people. You have to think about every aspect of everything. You have to do it. And that's following through with your recipes, with your ideas. Yes, it might be a great idea. Yes, it might have killed it over here. But maybe for this area or the area that you're in, it might not be a good dish. It might be too high volume. Maybe you were working at a steakhouse where it was expected that people were to dine in for an hour and a half, 2 hours. But now you work at a place where people want to be in and out within 45 minutes. Some of those dishes might not be feasible to create, so you have to think about that. Let's follow through with your recipes. As mentioned, these are just my thoughts, and this is just stuff that has helped me out in my culinary career and got me to the level that I'm at. I always want to go for more. I always want to strive for more. I do. These are my opinions, and I'm entitled to them. So, once again, this is Tony Making Food Mata, and that was a little Tony talk, a modified view on follow through in the culinary industry. Thank you, and have a good day.